Hey guys, today I am reacting to Mumbai's $1.7 billion coastal road explained. This should be interesting, and from what I know about Mumbai, it's like the second busiest city in India, the second biggest, most populated. It has a lot of industry there. I know it's like the home of Bollywood. And Mumbai is the capital of Maharashtra, the state. And it used to be named Bombay, I think. So yeah, that's another name of the city. Should be really interesting. Yeah. And if you could like this video and subscribe to the channel, that would really help out. Now let's get into it.
Welcome to one of the world's most congested cities. A simple commute here in Mumbai can mean spending hours stuck in traffic or
Oof, that sucks.
overcrowded trains.
Overcrowded trains, well, they need to, I guess, increase the efficiency of the trains and build more trains. Just have more trains then, I guess, yeah. And more public transportation options. That'd probably help.
To tackle this, India is taking on one of its most ambitious infrastructure projects yet. To build a new 8-lane
Not really the biggest fan of highways. Highways might just increase congestion, actually.
highway along the coast, Mumbai is reclaiming land
A highway along the coast? That's a bit of a waste of the coastal area. In my opinion, of course, but yeah.
from the sea, digging underwater tunnels, and constructing a roadway on stilts.
These are intended to be spectacles, monumental achievements that residents can take pride in and identify with.
But for all of its ambition, the project has faced just as much criticism, protest, and legal challenges.
Yeah, I'd imagine. I mean, it's like a beautiful coastline. Why would you kind of destroy it with this?
This is the $1.7 billion highway that's transforming Mumbai's coastline. From a population of just 3 million in 1950, Mumbai has exploded. It's now home to more than 20 million people, and the city's infrastructure is struggling to keep up. Today, its suburban rail system is one of the busiest yet deadliest in the world. Roads can get so bogged down with cars, bikes and buses that it can take hours to commute from South Mumbai to the western suburbs. In 2011, an Indian politician revived an idea that was originally explored by American consultants in the 1960s. Build a road in the sea along the coast of Mumbai. But plans for the cleverly named Mumbai Coastal Road have faced opposition from the start. Environmental activists say the construction will cause ecological damage to marine life, and local fisherfolk have raised concerns that the highway will impact fishing activity and their livelihoods.
Well, yeah, of course it will. And highways in general are not a good thing. They cause a lot of congestion and pollution with all the cars going there.
Still, the proposal was officially approved in 2015 and construction began 3 years later in 2018. Despite legal battles and a temporary halting of work, construction has pushed on and Phase 1 is now expected to complete in 2023. In all, the road will stretch 29 kilometres from Marine Drive in the south to Kandivali in the north. The first phase of the project will span 10 kilometres beginning at the promenade of Marine Drive to the Bandra Worli Sea Link. In this section, Mumbai is constructing 111 hectares of new land in the Arabian Sea, a tactic that's been used to build the city for centuries.
It first started with reclamations by the British when they were given Mumbai by the Portuguese many hundred years ago. And so much of the city's central regions have been made dry through reclamation projects conducted historically over time, over the last 2 or 3 centuries.
That's kind of cool, yeah. Kind of cool, actually, reclaiming land.
In 1991, regulations were put in place that actually prohibited any new reclamation. But the government amended the rules for this project. Now it's Mumbai's largest reclamation effort.
But it's not like India needs to reclaim land either, because you can always expand in the other direction too. So.
In the last 50 years. Turning ocean into land is typically done by filling the water along the coastline with heavy rocks or cement, and then filling the space between with clay and soil. As of July 2021, about 90% of the land reclamation work for the coastal road was complete. Now, in any location, coastal construction is a risky business that disrupts natural habitats.
That's true, it does, yeah.
But in Mumbai, a city already plagued by heavy rainfall and floodwaters, the risk may be even higher.
There is this concern that in the absence of studies to look at the interaction between rain infrastructure and sea level rise, that the city is setting up the conditions for natural disaster in the present and in the near future.
As the project progressed, the municipality
Maybe they need some coastal floodgates.
said it needed to reclaim more land than originally proposed in order to build a 7.5 kilometre seawall
Yeah, okay, a seawall makes sense though, to protect from natural disasters, but you don't need the highway.
that will help protect the new road from sea waves, floods and erosion. The government says the seawall is being built with eco-concrete technology from Israel, which will preserve marine biodiversity and create protection from coastal erosion.
That's good. That's actually really good then, yeah.
The city's also placing concrete tetrapods along the coastline to help protect it from waves. Still, in 2019, a big portion of the newly reclaimed land was washed away during a cyclone,
Oof.
and on-site engineers are still working to rebuild it. If the project weren't complicated enough, a set of twin tunnels is also being dug beneath some of Mumbai's most expensive real estate. That's all being made possible by Mavala, a 2,300-ton, 12-metre wide tunnel boring machine that was manufactured in China and is now the largest bit of kit of its kind in India. When complete, the tunnel will run for just over 2 kilometres, with roughly a kilometre running underwater before connecting to a road over land.
Yeah, but this could have been part of the subway. You could have had trains run through here. Or you can have trains run through here instead of cars. That'd be much better, in my opinion.
That road will then eventually link to a new interchange at Haj Ali, one of 13 interchanges planned for the route. There's also a 2,100 metre long bridge that's built on 176 single pillars using a monopile system.
I imagine if these highways were instead like bikeways or like bike highways, that'd be a lot cooler in my opinion. But the government would definitely not spend as much money. But still, more bike infrastructure would be good for Mumbai, I think. Then more people bike. They have other ways of traveling besides cars. So like they could take, trains, biking, or just walking maybe. But yeah. I mean, there's so many options you can choose. I feel like resorting to cars and highways is not a good idea.
Typically, 4 pillars are built as a group, but officials say using single large columns will save money and interfere with less of the seabed. Phase 1 also includes underground car parking and 70 hectares of green area, with pedestrian walkways, parks and
Green areas and pedestrian walkways, that's a good idea though.
promenades, much of it on the newly reclaimed land.
But imagine how noisy and polluted it's going to be when it's next to all these highways.
Officials project the new highway will be used by 130,000 cars a day, and that it will reduce travel time from more than 2 hours to just 40 minutes.
Hopefully people carpool at least.
But Professor Anand says the project will serve just 3% of the population.
True, that is a good point. Cars by their very nature, it's more expensive thing to get into. Because, you need to pay for the car, and you need to pay for the ride, which is more expensive. So it's limited to the richer folks, and not like the poorer folks who need it.
As most people tend to use public transit or walk. Mumbai's
It's it's a thing built for the rich people.
municipality has so far not responded to our request for comment on criticisms of the project. While the Mumbai Coastal Road is India's most ambitious highway project to date, it's far from the last, and the country actually has at least 23 new expressway and highway projects set to complete by 2025. But as India continues
I heard India's also building some high-speed rail, which is cool.
to develop, it's going to need to invest in more than just roads and sea links.
The power of these symbols and dreams of modernity, of high speed, of flow, right? Mumbai simply does not have the space for everyone to drive fast in a car, no matter what the city
Yeah, really, it does not have the space for everyone to drive like that.
does. But yet the dream powers development and real estate and infrastructure construction in such a way to make some semblances of that dream real for some at great cost for many others.
Yeah. Definitely a great quest for many others.
Mumbai's coastal road project is a bold show of what India is capable of when it comes to construction, but also of the challenges and debate that surround complex projects like this in congested cities around the world. Building a road in the ocean was never going to be easy, but once again, engineers in this remarkable industry are making the seemingly impossible happen. If you enjoyed this video and you want to get more from the definitive video channel for construction, subscribe to the B1M.
Also, it's a waste of the coastline in my opinion. Imagine how much better served they could be with bike lanes, better public transportation, more trains and subways. Just so many options, maybe light rail, so maybe like some trams, some streetcars. There's so many things you can do. And just building a highway is a bad idea. It serves the ultra rich, the ones that can drive. Anyway, interesting video. Let's check out some of the comments. B1M never fails with the high quality informational video. I would literally spend hours watching and just loving new information. Great content. A city is developed when even the rich are comfortable taking the public transport. True. You could put the money into the public transportation instead of this highway. Oh well. You know, someone is Indian when they have a market choose to go by tuk-tuk to the shops. Well, in Minneapolis, even the conductors are afraid to use the light rail system. Many bus routes are equally sketchy. Oh yeah, and bus routes. Just more buses and routes. And keep it clean as well. More cleaning people. Use the money to hire more cleaning people. People want more police on patrol, but who the hell would choose to be a cop these days? And that only happens in Europe. Even in US, the rich would rather use their car. You just need a very good transportation system. So Asia doesn't exist then? Yeah. Mumbai Metro, which is under construction, will serve to solve problems for much of Mumbai's residents like no other. True. Metro. Yeah, that's such a better idea. A metro. Metros work much better. They just transport much more people. It's so much more efficient if you think about it. Honestly, it won't make much of a difference as it's already too late. For a short period of time, there will be a reduction in density of people in bus and local. Nothing much except that. After a year or two, as COVID normalizes, it will be as packed as current Versova Ghatkopar metro is. So just build more and more. Build and use more and more trains and build the metro bigger and bigger. Instead of using it on this highway. And build like streetcars and trams and bike lanes and such. There's so much you can do. It's not good enough if it only impacts 5%. Yeah, local trains need to be upgraded to the metro standard. We should build 1,000 kilometers of metro eventually in 20 years. Then economies of scale will happen and fast travel may be possible for 25% of the Mumbai cars. Yeah. I don't think 1,000 kilometers is necessary. I disagree. Future-proof isn't always necessary. It's always a good idea. Yeah, the current metro which is in development is not the ultimate solution. Yeah, it might not be, but it's a damn good step along the way. You need to buy time to upgrade other transport infrastructure, which needs to be done rapidly. True. Just hire a lot of people to do it. There's a simple rule in civil transportation engineering. More and wider highways do not solve congestion. They add to it. And it's supported by good research too. Anyway, I was hoping some more coverage of the tunnel and the changes surrounding it, because I am one of the designers working on it, perhaps post-construction. I believe the term was induced demand. Are there any plans for better or faster public transport? Good luck, my man. Seems like it's not an easy job to do given the situation. Hope you build more tunnels for the future metro in the coming years. Same, more tunnels for the future metro. Yeah. I was thinking the same. It would just be an expensive example of induced demand. I agree with you said. I noticed that cities with no highways are very easy to move around in, but the cities with highways are the only ones that have traffic. Yes, Mumbai is building 238-kilometer metros with 138 kilometers to be functional by 2023 and 50 kilometers this year itself. There's also 23-kilometer monorail. Oh, monorail, interesting. Monorails aren't the best though, to be honest, but okay. At least it's something. And 340 kilometers of suburban rail. Almost like a metro without the AC. But the AC is kind of necessary in my opinion. But still, yeah, interesting. If you have no other options to get to work, then you just lose money in productivity when people sit in traffic. True. Mumbai's metro has 14 metro lines under construction, out of which one runs parallel to this highway. 7 trains operational, and the vast bus rapid transit system, unlike many US cities. Yeah, that's true. I mean, even the US needs better public transportation for a fact. It really does. We could all use better public transportation. Don't resort to highways. You get more traffic, more congestion, but also more capacity to get people to businesses and services. But you'd get better capacity if you use public transportation. Never thought the road near my house would be featured in B1M, but here we are. Oof, that area is about to be a lot more noisy and polluted. The only real solution going forward in major cities is to improve public transportation to the point where owning a car becomes a nuisance, like in major cities of Japan. True. Very, 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 very true. Yeah, someone said they doubt the roads are going to be empty like these computer models. Mumbai's traffic is crazy. Yeah, they will largely be because everyone can't afford the expensive tolls they're going to impose to recuperate the cost. Still going to be busy though. Yeah. Originally explored by Americans in the 1960s. Well, that explains a lot. Yeah, I mean, at least the US is going through somewhat of urban renewal. But even then, I mean, still, don't take this highway example from the US. Don't focus on car culture. It's not a good idea. I'm saying this as an American, so. This looks like a project straight from the 60s or 70s when cars were regarded as the transportation mean of the future. We now know how wrong that was, and many cities now remove such highways. Yeah. It's worrying how up-and-coming cities make the same mistakes. It really is worrying. Yeah, they really should be focusing more on public transportation, as other big older cities are doing now. Yeah, let's ruin the beautiful coastline. But sure, where the rich live, build it underground so the properties keep their value. Yeah, unfortunately. At least, yeah, public transportation is the future for Mumbai's development. What a great idea. Block views of the sea with massive concrete structures loaded with cars. Talk about prehistoric public planning. Yeah. Highways are fine to connect cities, but terrible within those cities. Exactly. Don't build it within a city. An electric train or metro line along this route would probably serve a lot more people and make the parks surrounding it actually nice to be in, instead of being next to a congested highway producing lots of smog. Very, very good point. Well said. Rail network is the heart of the city, so upgrading and developing it will serve every citizen. But it's the rich people, right? It's the home of Bollywood, so they have a lot of influence and power to get this highway done, unfortunately. I can't imagine those proposed parks along the highway being very pleasant with all the noise and smog. Yeah. And I remember going to Delhi and all the traffic there, bro. It was hard to sleep even. In some areas, just because there's so much traffic. And the smog was so bad. Yeah. You better serve the public transportation seriously. That might be fine for individuals, but what about deliveries, trades, construction, etc.? Can't put them on a train. Actually, you somewhat can put them on a train. Yeah, and use like streetcars and trams. And the people who do need to drive, though, they should be the ones driving, not the people who don't need to drive. You don't need to drive for luxury. So people with actual needs, they can drive, but everyone else should take public transportation. Like you should have emergency vehicles and such. They can use the lanes and the highways, but everyone else, public transportation. I mean, that's how many cities do it. The metro line exists, but even if it's fully completed by 2030, I don't see it being properly cared for, unfortunately. You need to really care for the metro. Yeah. Highways like these projects have never proven successful in their goal: ease congestion and reduce travel times. If you make more people use public transport or other ways of transportation, roads open up for the people who actually need them. And as you say, pricing is a big factor too in getting people out of their cars, especially in rush hour. Wendover made a nice video on roads versus public transportation. I believe it's called How to Fix Traffic or something similar. Modern trams are proposed, but not sure if it will be approved or not. It should be approved. You should have all the options available. I mean, except cars and highways. Like, of course, to a limited degree, you should have cars and such for like emergency services and supply, but otherwise, public transportation all the way. Roads just add more traffic. You add more lanes and more people drive. Should be looking into public transport alternatives. Agreed. Yeah, it's at least they're working on a at least they're working on a metro system. It's good to have both the highway and metro. Well, I don't know if it really is good to have the highway. That's congestion and pollution. But yeah, metro absolutely. Check out Mumbai's metro expansion. One existing, 2 new lines already in trial, 5 more under construction, which will open in the next 1 to 2 years. These 7 were approved 2 to 3 years back, and the further 6 more under proposal, scheduled to open between 2024 and 2026, and one connecting 2 airports in 2028. Good, connecting 2 airports makes sense. This is exactly the type of thing Mumbai should focus on, not destroying the beautiful coastline and adding to the traffic. They can focus on multiple projects at the same time. Yes, true, but still, highways, not a good idea. They could use that money on public transport. They should have invested that money in improving underground drainage system and flash floods, preventative infrastructure. I agree. The drainage system was upgraded this year, but due to record-breaking rainfall, it failed. Upgraded again. This reminds me a lot of Portland's infamous Arbor Drive. It looks like a great idea, but it will only give headaches in the end. Yeah, Oregon, yeah. Portland, Oregon. I visited that place. It is a park, seriously. I just couldn't round up my head thinking it used to be a freeway, and they're trying to reinvent the same in Seattle Pier 2. But here is the deal: we need to look at our automobile industry. I mean, if there's demand, then there's supply. If there's supply, then you have jobs, and you have jobs, you have money, and from the money you can spend it. But the money doesn't have to be dirty car and oil money. True. Yeah, but Portland has never been that congested compared to Mumbai. And they have good bike lanes and bike infrastructure. But still, could be better. Building more roads doesn't solve congestion and pollution problems. It adds to it. It's called induced demand, and now America is learning from it, and many are now removing the highways from cities. Since population density in Mumbai is so high, cars are the worst idea since they take so much space. There are many dense cities like Mumbai with much less pollution and congestion, like London, New York, and Tokyo. Population density is not really an excuse. Mumbai should work on exclusively improving public transportation and cycling infrastructure, since these are the densest modes of transport. Absolutely agreed. Amazing comment. I love this comment. Yeah. It should do both. Build the roads plus expand public transport. It should not expand roads, though. It should not build roads. Expand public transport, absolutely, and maintain it well. Same with San Francisco's Embarcadero Freeway and Seattle's Alaskan Way. Vancouver also had a waterfront freeway planned in the 60s, but public opposition killed it. Thankfully. Yeah, definitely thankfully. Don't make the same mistake as the US. Don't build highways besides water. Build public transport. Agreed. Yeah. So don't build highways next to the coast. Yeah. I can't believe the B1M covered this. I'm so happy right now. I waited for so many days for a video on India. I even thought of mailing you, and you finally did it. I won't ask anymore. Thank you so much. It was a great video though, to be fair. Like, it's interesting and it does inform you, which is really nice. Oh, and please like this video and subscribe to the channel. Looks like they should have built out the public transportation, i.e. faster trains and more commuter railways. This looks like the kind of mistake many cities did or almost did in the 60s in US and Europe. It does, yeah. 1.7 billion for all of that. I'm guessing this is going to go slightly over budget. Really, yeah, it's going to go majorly over budget, yeah. Just cut off access to the ocean with 10 lanes of freeway. That will make the city nicer. Sarcasm, yeah. It's going to be a lot worse. An idea that was originally explored by American consultants in the 1960s. Says it all right there. Failed ideas of the past, many examples of which are being torn down in the US, being resuscitated elsewhere. Oh well. We have a lot of experience fixing traffic problems by creating huge roads that increase traffic even more. Why Mumbai is trying to copy is beyond my imagination, but whatever, I guess. Yeah, instead of seeing the ocean, you see an awful highway with smog trail, unfortunately. It'd be awesome if you could cover more Indian projects like Delhi-Mumbai Expressway or the US BRL project. What's this US BRL project? Let's see what this is. Northern Railway Construction. Okay, something like that. So railway, that's good. Mumbai City should improve drainage system and better rain management. Agreed. Anyway, this is a highly biased video, which seems to think this will be a failure without knowing ground realities. Logically, it is a bit of a failure because it's just less efficient than public transportation. And it might work, but it's going to be a great cost to the people. Yeah, this project is repeating the mistakes we made in the US. In big cities, traffic always grows to fill new roads until congestion reaches the previous level. If you build it, the drivers will come. The fact that this was recommended by US consultants from the 1960s suggests that the ideas align with the ill-conceived transport planning of that era in the US. US cities have been tearing down the roads along their coasts built around that time, because those roads are the blight and did nothing to improve the city. It's a joke to put green space right next to a highway. Few will want to hang out in a loud, polluted space. This looks like a marketing ploy to make it appear that the project planners are community-driven. Good comment. I agree as an American, yeah. I really do. India is copying the US in every way, good or bad. Unfortunately, you really should not copy the US in regards to highways. Build public transportation. Copy Japan and more modern cities in the US, if anything. Yeah, Mumbai does not have the space like US cities, true. Yeah. Developers and politicians often choose to ignore factors that contradict or challenge their ideas. This project is a mess, an ill-conceived, counterproductive boondoggle that will decrease the quality of life for everyday residents of Mumbai. True. This is going to be regretted years from now when they realize the highway won't reduce congestion. Most likely, it will increase car use and cause more congestion and pollution, smog over time. Using this space for train lines would be much more useful for the city. Absolutely agreed. Yeah. Oh well. Anyway, thanks for watching, and if you enjoyed my reaction, please like this video and subscribe to the channel. Thank you so much for watching, and comment down below with your thoughts. Bye bye.